Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital is putting all the bad Joe Ness on new villain Sidwell, which works for now, but we know in the end Alistair's Sonny and Laura will win. Sonny, Sidwell has the gun that killed Dalton, and your DNA is each over it. Laura, what? He planned it impeccably. I've to do whatever he tells me to do. Sonny, which is? Laura, I've to be his mayor and follow his orders. Dante is now the police manager. How am I going to look Dante in the eye? Sonny, I need time to make a plan. Sonny reminded Laura that they defeated Frank Smith with Luke back in the day, and they can do it again, #history. Jason showed up, and he and Sonny explained to Laura that the way Sidwell uses her will let them know what he's after, and hopefully expose his association to them. Laura, will bring him down together. Away, Felicia name-checking the late Bobby to Lucas was gold. Felicia, your mama was my stylish friend. Everyone knew she had a fiery temper, and her capability to hold a grudge was the stuff of legends. But what was little known was her capacity for remission. I don't know what's going on between you and Carly, but your mama would ain't want this distance between you. Don't give up on your family. That's good advice, except Carly is 100 right about Lucas's earnest new mate, Marco, who's a crook like his father, Sidwell. Come home, Brad. At least he was funny. You can no way beat the Quartermain Thanksgiving with the house chock full of A-listers. This time, Chase offered to cook regale, and Brooke Lynn incontinently dug out the fire extinguisher. Ned, the curse comes for us all. Chase, there's no similar thing as a curse on food. Chase's sweats paid off, but they wound up bringing the mess to GH to thank the sanitarium for saving Ned's life. The traveling Tracy had pizza delivered to recognize the tradition started by Monica, see the curse, which was a great salutation to the Q's history of being rivals and musketeers. Speaking of rivals, Young and Restless always scores with the decades-old Newman vs. Abbott feud. Nothing was funnier than Jack riding Nikki at the GCAC as she was ending a call with Victor. Nikki, thank you, darling. Jack, was that for my benefit? Thank you, darling. I've every confidence in you controlling the macrocosm. Nikki, sardonic, why yes, Jack. Everything is for your benefit. How did you know? The rich history affects marrieds who are still musketeers, but who detest each other's consorts. Nikki participated her fear that Victor was in Los Angeles keeping word about Noah from her, which he was, and Jack poked the bear by saying how dare Victor not be honest with her. Nikki, accusatory, that's what you do, hold back to cover the people you love. It's insulting, making opinions for people who can decide on their own. Jack, for veritably good reasons. Nikki, has anybody ever thanked you for doing that? No, they haven't. Were you relieved to hear Victor was out of city? Jack, I might start my happy cotillion. Setting away the curious diversion YNR took to Los Angeles with a cast of non-natives, transferring Victor out of city gave Jack and Nikki the chance to team up against him. Talk rotated to Jack's fear that Victor had Kane's AI program, and Nikki verified it. So, Jack commended that Jabot had suspended operations to defend against an attack. Unexpectedly, Nikki offered to try and yank the software down from her hubby. Jack, that would be a bold move. Nikki, but a necessary bone. Warhorse on warhorse snark is delightful, but when someone disrespects an A-lister, watch out. What was bold and beautiful's Ridge thinking when he treated Eric like an entry position hand? His father innovated the company, for God's sake. Ridge, he's had a great career, but it's over. He's got to hang it up. I get it, it's hard. But it's my job to keep him safe. Are you his mama? Shut up, Ridge. The scenes of Eric alone in the office were brutal. He pulled a print of himself with Stephanie out of a hole and sorely surveyed the room. The Forrester women expressed concern, with Steffi wondering how her forefather would take the forced withdrawal and Brooke fussing he would ain't like it. Ridge said this is what he needs, and ultimately, his father will agree. Wanna go? Eric, I'll not be put out to pasturage. You can make an argument that it's better for Eric's health for him to retire, but springing a surprise goodbye party on him and forcing him out the door was cruel and actually mischievous to his well-being. Brooke, I wish that went more. You suppose? Ridge had drama with Bill, too, after disrespecting Katie by hiring an outside PR establishment to do her job while she was detracted by Will's drama with Luna. Bill, you're the smartest person in this place. You have saved it from one debacle to another. Give Forrester the charge. There's a place for you and Will at Spencer. Bill called Forrester Creations a god-abandoned zany show with Ridge the ringmaster. Ridge reposted that he doesn't need Bill smelling around FC. Ridge, this is a fashion house, not a battleground. He's made it a battleground. Team Eric. The Baby in the daytime lineup, premiering before this time, Beyond the Gates doesn't have OG stagers yet, but they're on the right track. The Duprees are obviously the A-listers, but Nicole and Danny's bestie, Vanessa, has taken center stage lately after the death of her hubby redounded in her teaming up with Joey Armstrong and passing out cards for his companion service at the country club. Danny, don't tell me he's seeing you to tap up guests for his skeevy business. Vanessa, the skeevy business is mine. I run it for Joey. I've a brain for business. Danny, and a duck for sin? It's harlotry. Vanessa, I begrudge being characterized as a pander. Danny, okay, madam. Vanessa, I run illicit business. We pay levies. Well, that's okay also. Vanessa commended that she felt unnoticeable when she was married to Doug and feels alive now that she's involved with Joey. Danny apologized and thanked her BF for trusting her enough to be honest. Danny, I may not like this new design. Vanessa, indeed, with a Musketeers and family reduction? That's a hard no. Danny's got Andre at home. It's open season on Stefano's seat on Days of Our Lives, which has redounded in a crop of loquacious A-listers, plus the lately returned Theo, getting locked in the DiMera vault. Chad, whoever did this has been watching us. Theo, can anyone flash back seeing anyone suspicious? Kristen, Statesville is always suspicious. Tony and Kristen's suspect DJ is behind their hijacking because he wants control of the family company, but Chad defended him. Theo wasn't sure. Theo, indeed, if it's Uncle EJ, he wouldn't kill us, will he? Huh. He's new then. This story also ropes in Abe, who wanted to help look for his son, but Jada was all it's unsanctioned disquisition, and you're retired, blah blah. Abe, I'm not the average Joe. I've worn that emblem as long as you've been alive. Go get him, Abe. EJ admitted to Kat that he's the DiMera most people hope will vanish, while Kristen ordered her fellow internees to start digging their way out of their underground captivity. It didn't take long to find commodity suspicious. Chad, is that a bone? Theo, looks like it's from Immortal. The true currency of a soap opera is not mere drama, but legacy. It's the weight of history in a glance, the echo of a decades-old feud in a fresh threat, and the unshakable understanding that certain pillars of the community, no matter how battered, will ultimately stand. In Port Charles, those pillars have names, Sonny Corinthos and Laura Collins. As General Hospital deftly introduces its latest existential threat in the form of the calculating, behind-the-scenes puppet master Cletus Sidwell, it does so with a knowing wink to its audience. Yes, Sidwell is dangerous. Yes, his web ensnares the mayor and the mob. But the show's foundational promise remains, the A-listers, forged in the fires of Luke Spencer's adventures and Frank Smith's brutality, will find a way. This isn't a spoiler, it's a covenant with the viewers, written in the DNA of the show itself. The confrontation in the mayor's office was a masterclass in this dynamic. The air wasn't just tense, it was thick with the ghosts of past wars. When Sonny, his voice a low gravel of contained fury, laid out Sidwell's trap, he has the gun that killed Dalton, and your DNA is all over it, it wasn't just a legal problem. It was a direct assault on Port Charles's moral center, Laura, the heart of the city. Her devastation was palpable. He planned it perfectly, she whispered, the weight of the mayorship suddenly a cage. I have to do whatever he tells me to do. Her deepest anguish wasn't for her freedom, but for her integrity. Dante is now the police commissioner. How am I going to look Dante in the eye? Here was the human cost, the erosion of trust between the city's chief lawmaker and its top lawman, orchestrated by a shadow. Sonny's response was not one of panic, but of seasoned strategy. I need time to make a plan. And then, the invocation of history, the show's secret weapon, we defeated Frank Smith with Luke back in the day. We can do it again. This single line did more than offer comfort, it framed the current conflict. Frank Smith wasn't just a mobster, he was a seemingly unconquerable institution, a monster who controlled cops and politicians. His defeat by the trio of Luke, Laura, and a young, rising Sonny is the foundational myth of modern Port Charles. By invoking #history, Sonny wasn't reminiscing, he was recalibrating. He was placing Sidwell on a familiar chessboard, reducing him from an omnipotent new threat to the latest in a line of villains who ultimately overreach. The arrival of Jason Morgan, the Silent Knight, cemented this tactical shift. The plan, as Sonny and Jason explained to Laura, was quintessential Corinthos, use the enemy's momentum against him. The way Sidwell uses you will let us know what he's after, Sonny reasoned, and hopefully expose his organization to us. This is the long game. It's about absorbing the blow, studying the fist, and then dismantling the entire arm. Laura's rallying cry, "We'll bring him down together," was more than resolve, it was the formation of a modern triumvirate. Luke may be gone, but his spirit, the belief that a passionate, scrappy underdog can outmaneuver a powerful machine, lives on in this alliance. The show is telling us plainly, Sidwell may have the gun and the DNA, but Sonny and Laura have the blueprint, written in the blood and triumph of their shared past. Echoes of the past, bridges to the future. This theme of legacy and connection pulsed through other storylines, serving as both balm and warning. In a quiet, golden moment, Felicia Scorpio sought out a troubled Lucas Jones. Mentioning his late mother, Bobby Spencer, was a direct tap into the show's emotional reservoir. "Your mother was my best friend," Felicia began, weaving a portrait that only a true veteran could. Everyone knew she had a fiery temper, and her ability to hold a grudge was the stuff of legends. But what was little known was her capacity for forgiveness. This wasn't just gossip, it was moral guidance, a character reference from beyond the grave. "I don't know what's going on between you and Carly," Felicia implored, "but your mother wouldn't want this distance. Don't give up on your sister." The advice was sound, layered with the complexity of history. Yet, the scene also highlighted the show's clever juggling act. The audience, armed with omniscient knowledge, screams at the screen, but Carly is 100% right. Lucas's new partner, the humorless Marco, isn't just sketchy, he's the son of the very villain threatening Laura. The drama lives in this gap, between Felicia's heartfelt, historically grounded plea for family unity and the ugly, present-day truth that sometimes, family members are tragically, dangerously wrong. The longing for the return of Brad Cooper, "At least he was funny," is a longing for levity and loyalty in a landscape growing increasingly grim and duplicitous. Even the chaos of the Quartermaine Thanksgiving was a lesson in legacy. The curse, that infamous, kitchen-destroying specter, is itself a beloved family heirloom. Ned's wry remark, "The curse comes for us all," as Chase brandished a turkey baster and Brooke Lynn preemptively wielded a fire extinguisher, was delivered not with dread, but with ritualistic acceptance. Chase's denial, "There is no such thing as a curse on food," was the necessary defiance of every new generation. That the meal ultimately survived, only to be transported to General Hospital to honor the staff who saved Ned, spoke to the QS evolution from selfish schemers to a community pillar. And Tracy, ever the pragmatic custodian of tradition, ordering pizza in homage to Monica's long-ago solution? It was a perfect salute, a recognition that the family's strength lies not in avoiding their chaotic history, but in embracing it, adapting it, and sharing it. A tapestry of tactics across the dial. This interplay between legacy power and fresh threat is a rich vein mined across the daytime landscape. The Young and the Restless offers a masterclass in it with the eternal Newman-Abbott feud. The sparring between Jack Abbott and Nikki Newman at the GCAC was not mere snark, it was the comfortable, cutting language of a shared history spanning marriages, betrayals, and reluctant alliances. Jack's taunt about her phone call with Victor, "Thank you, darling," I have every confidence in you controlling the universe." And Nikki's sarcastic retort are the verses of a familiar song. Their conversation pivoted from personal jabs to a stunning strategic alliance. Nikki's fear of Victor withholding information about Noah mirrored Jack's own paternal anxieties, creating a temporary but powerful bridge. Her confirmation that Victor possessed Kane's dangerous AI software, and her offer to yank it from him, was a seismic shift. That would be a bold move, Jack acknowledged. But a necessary one, Nikki concluded. Here, the A-listers, the established monarchs of Genoa City, weren't waiting to be saved, they were proactively realigning the board against a common, overreaching threat, proving that history doesn't just make you a target, it makes you a tactician. The Bold and the Beautiful, meanwhile, presented a stark cautionary tale about disrespecting a foundational A-lister. Ridge Forrester's treatment of his father, Eric, was a profound miscalculation. In declaring, "He's had a great career, but it's over. He's got to hang it up, it's my job to keep him safe," Ridge reduced a legend to a liability. The scenes of Eric alone in his office, clutching a photo of Stephanie, were heartbreaking, a visual elegy for a man being ushered out of his own life's work. The women's concern felt patronizing, and Ridge's certainty that eventually, his father will agree reeked of arrogance. Eric's roared defiance, "I will not be put out to pasture," was more than an old man's stubbornness, it was the battle cry of legacy itself. Bill Spencer's intervention, labeling Forrester Creations a godforsaken clown show and offering Jack a place at Spencer, further illuminated the battlefield. Ridge's claim that this is a fashion house, not a battlefield, rang hollow, as he was the one who made it one by declaring war on its king. The message was clear: sidelining your history doesn't strengthen your future, it severs your roots and leaves you vulnerable to true outsiders. Newer soaps like Beyond the Gates are wisely building this framework from the ground up. While lacking OG vets, it's establishing its own core dynasties, with the Duprees positioned as the emerging A-listers. The focus on Vanessa, however, is a smart play, exploring how a person rewrites their own legacy after tragedy. Her transformation from invisible society wife to a confident, if morally ambiguous, business partner running an escort service is a fresh take on empowerment. Her defense to a horrified Danny, "I run a legitimate business. We pay taxes," is a brilliant, darkly comic line that establishes a new character's ethos instantly. The show is creating its own history, moment by moment, understanding that future loyalties and vendettas are being seeded now. Days of Our Lives took a more literal approach, trapping a cadre of Stefano Di Mera's offspring in the family crypt, a physical manifestation of being imprisoned by one's own legacy. The dialogue crackled with the inherited paranoia and dark humor of the Di Mera bloodline. Kristen's observation that Statesville is always suspicious and Theo's naive question, "Even if it is Uncle EJ, he won't kill us, will he?" perfectly captured the spectrum of experience within the dynasty. The power struggle, with Tony and Kristen suspecting EJ, and Chad caught in the middle, is classic Di Mera, a snake eating its own tail. Bringing in Abe, the retired moral compass of Salem, to search for his son Theo, added the crucial external pressure. Abe's rebuke to Jada, "I'm not the average Joe. I've worn that badge as long as you've been alive," was another testament to the authority of experience. Even in captivity, the Di Mera's history provided tools, ordering everyone to dig. They didn't find freedom, but more history, a human bone. Their legacy is quite literally the ground beneath their feet, filled with secrets and skeletons. The inevitable triumph of the Titans. This brings us back to Port Charles and the standoff with Sidwell. What the show understands, and what makes this storyline compelling rather than stressful, is that Sidwell's power is structural and political, while Sunny and Laura's power is mythic and relational. Sidwell has files, frames, and clandestine influence. Sunny and Laura have Jason, a network of allies forged in countless crises, and the unwavering loyalty of the audience who has seen them prevail. Sidwell is playing checkers, aiming for immediate positional advantage. Sunny is playing chess, with a board he's studied for 30 years. The scenes across all soaps form a cohesive thesis. True A-lister status is not just about popularity or longevity. It is about becoming an irreducible force within the ecosystem of the show. To defeat them, a villain must not just outsmart them, but fundamentally rewrite the rules of the world, a task that ultimately proves impossible. Nikki Newman can temporarily ally with Jack Abbott because their shared history is more powerful than any single marriage. Eric Forrester can defy his son because his name is on the building, and in the soul, of the company. The DiMera children, for all their squabbling, are united by the crypt that defines them. And so, in Port Charles, as Laura Collins steels herself to play the compliant mayor and Sonny Corinthos begins to quietly mobilize his resources, the outcome feels preordained not because of lazy writing, but because of rigorous character theology. Sidwell has the gun. But Sonny has the blueprint from the Frank Smith War. Sidwell has the DNA evidence. But Laura has the faith of the entire town. Sidwell has a plan for control. But the A-listers have history on their side, a history that tells them, and us, that in Port Charles, the heart of the city and its protective, if flawed, guardian always win. The journey will be fraught with danger, moral compromise, and shocking twists, but the destination is part of the promise. The baptism of fire for this new alliance has begun, and while Sidwell may have struck the match, Sonny and Laura control the tide that will ultimately quench the flames.